friends, good day. Welcome to this yoga class. Today is going to be a class especially for the lower back. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple of movements, exercises, very easy yoga poses, but with a very intense effect on tension in the lower back. So all you need, if you have one, is a yoga block. You can also use like a big book or maybe a folded blanket. A cushion might be too soft, but you can always use one under your head. Make sure you have something like this. So pause the video for a second if you need to get that. And then we're going to start lying down on our back. So you can easily just lower yourself on your back, on the mat. Take a moment here to place your feet a bit wider, maybe the width of the mat. Release the knees together so you can lean on each other. And you can place your hands on your belly. Okay, and just take a moment. Just make sure you feel comfortable. If you need anything under your head again, maybe a pillow, just do so. And just try to release any immediate tension that you feel. Like if you feel you're holding on to something in your body, if you're using your muscles in this pose, you can just let go. Okay, we're just gonna relax for a second. And you can also use this moment to connect with your breath. Maybe it's been a very busy day, maybe it's early morning for you right now. Whatever time of the day it is, it's a good moment to take time for yourself and to make a moment to pay attention to how you're feeling, how you're doing. And the easiest way to do that is to connect to the breath. So try to feel how fast or how slow maybe you breathe. If it's going all the way down to your belly. If not, just try to make it so. You don't have to push it, you don't have to force your breath, never try to do that. But you can actively try to release any tension in the belly so it can move along. When you breathe in, you might feel that your lungs fill with air and that your belly comes up a little bit. What happens is that the diaphragm goes down, that means the belly goes up. And when you breathe out, you slowly feel the belly going down and relax. And try to be aware of that movement. Ever so slightly maybe, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Try to become aware. So breathe in and slowly and steadily out. So keep control. When you breathe out, don't let it go all at once. You can always count your breaths. Try to make them evenly in and out. Or you can always breathe out longer then you breathe in, it's fine too. Relax your body and just try to pay attention to what you notice. Maybe you notice tension somewhere, maybe even pain. Maybe you're just tired or full of energy. And you can always bring the focus towards the lower back right now because that's what we're going to work with today. So just try to feel what do you notice there? Is it kind of a sore area, or is it very tense, or maybe you're very flexible and it's very soft and warm. That's fine too, there's no wrong or right. It's just awareness of your own body. Few more deep breaths. Take your time. And then you can slowly start to move your legs. So you can let your knees fall a bit to the left and to the right. Keep the feet wide. That way you don't need so much tension, you need so much strength from the belly. If you keep your feet together, then it's gonna be very difficult to come back up every time. And just make it a very easy movement. So don't push your knees down, just let them fall. And try to stay in that flow of, a rhythm of coming up and going down in the same speed, basically. Your body loves rhythms. It loves the movement going in the same speed. It's soothing for the body. One more time, to the left and to the right, and then come up. Okay. Now try to pay attention to the area around your hips, so your pelvis, lower belly, groins, the whole area here. And then you can push your navel all the way down, and your tailbone comes up, and you feel that the entire back is on the floor. There's no room beneath the lower back. As usual, you have kind of tiny hollow part in the back where you can lower your hand and go under your back. But this way, the entire back is supported by the floor. Okay, so you kind of push the lower back into the floor. Keep it up. And then release again. And then you already feel the pelvis tilting forward. And you can go along with that motion. So you make it kind of extra hollow. Tailbone goes down, navel goes all the way up, and you have a lot of space underneath the back. So you make a hollow back. Don't push it too much, especially if you have some lower back pains, really. Make it a soft, hollow back, okay? No pushing. Otherwise you can make it a bit more, with a bit more strength. But again, be very, very gentle with your lower back, okay? So you easily can build up tension there. That's not what we want. We want to release it. So be soft. This time we're going to do it with the breath. So when you breathe out, push the navel down, tailbone up, all the way, entire back on the floor. And breathe in, let go, open the belly, hollow back, tailbone goes down. Breathe out, round the back, tailbone up. Breathe in, belly up, tailbone down. Use your own rhythm. Again, out and in. And we want to soften that area. And the only way to soften it is to use softness, to use a gentle touch, not too much, not too hard, not too severe. So we keep the movement soft. And you can go as far as you like. If you want to challenge yourself in a pose later on, go ahead, that's fine. But don't make it hard. Don't make your body hard. We want to soften it. You can relax the belly again, relax the hip area if you like. You can just wiggle the knees, move a little bit. And then you can bring the right knee over the left one, and you can go along in that motion towards the left. So you kind of fall with both knees towards the left. Try to keep the right shoulder on the floor. So we're going to go into a twist, which is a bit deeper with the stretch on the right side because we cross the knees. If that's too much, please uncross your knees and make it into a very soft twist with both knees on top of each other. And if it's too much, you can use your block, if you have it, or your book or your blanket, and place it under the knees. And that way you have a little bit more support. It's very important that you don't overstretch this area, okay? So it's very nice if you feel the stretch and if you can enjoy it. But the most important part is that you can keep breathing. Okay, so connect with the breath again. And what I mean by that is basically that you become aware of how you're breathing. So every time you're in a pose, you try to connect with your own breath. That way you connect with your body, with how you're feeling, with what you notice. And that's what yoga is all about, at least the physical part of yoga. So keep on breathing. A little bit more. And then we're going to change sides. So slowly come up. Use your muscles a little bit or help yourself up. Come back with both feet on the ground. We're going to change sides. So you bring the left one over the right one and go along in the motion towards the right. And let your knees just, well, end wherever they are. It's fine. You can always just bring the hips under a little bit. That way you have a deeper stretch. Okay? Again, both of your shoulders on the ground. You can always relax the hand on the knees if you want, or just open both of your hands. And it's all good. It's all good. No stress. Just make the pose as easy as you need to and as difficult as you want to. Make sure you can keep on smiling. Okay, it's very important that you don't stress in a pose, that you're not gonna feel a lot of resistance either in your body or in your mind. You know, it's not supposed to become a struggle in the mind. So as long as you can smile, it's good. And try to breathe again. Relax the belly, so try to keep the breathing all the way down. It helps, you know. It helps your body to recognize what it's supposed to do. Because sometimes it's hard for the body to relax on its own and it needs some help. And a deep breathing, relaxed breathing, or sighing or yawning helps the body to relax. It's kind of a memory thing in the muscles. Memory thing in the breathing, in the hormone levels. Slowly gonna come up again. Use your muscles so you don't pull the whole weight of the legs from the lower back. Use the tummy, the belly muscles, the abdomen, or use your hands to easily bring your legs back up, knees back up. Make sure you have a straight back when you lay down. And then you can do two things. You can just roll onto the side, slowly come up to a sitting position. If you want, you can also just bring your knees towards your chest, hold the inside of your knees. Bring your nose towards your knees so you make a round back, and then you can roll a few times. Make sure it's okay for your spine. If you want, you can all the way roll to the back, you know, touch the ground with your toes. Roll all the way up and come to a sitting position. Okay. Take some time. You can place your feet on the floor for a second, relax the hands alongside your body. Sit up, take a few moments. Okay. And then you can place the heels on the floor. You can bend the knees as much as you need to either grab the inside of your knees or to hold on to your toes. Make it a very easy movement, okay? So don't push yourself, just make sure you can sit up straight and just touch your toes or the inside of your knees, both is fine. And then you keep the heels in place and you're just gonna stretch the legs a little bit. You don't have to stretch them all the way, so your knees don't have to, the inside of your knees don't have to touch the mat. But you're just gonna move a little bit and then you feel how your hips and your lower back is, like the left side moving backward a little bit and the right side moving backward a little bit. So as long as you keep your heels in the same place, you only push your hips backwards one by one. You feel the movement in the lower back. Try to relax, okay? So keep the belly relaxed, keep the breathing relaxed. Shoulders relax, everything relax. Oh my God, we're gonna be so relaxed. No, just, again, don't make it a struggle. Just try to concentrate on the movement. without trying to make the movement. Okay, so you just kind of feel your body moving, and it's fine. Doesn't matter how far you bend or stretch. It doesn't matter how much you feel, as long as it's no pain. Very important. Okay. And then let the movement die out. And you can place both of your feet on the mat again. And you can kind of pull the meat from under your buttocks sidewise, or to the side, sidewise, that's very important, to the sides. You kind of have a natural pillow here, that you don't fall back that easily, and you can feel your sitting bones very firmly on the ground. It's very important, so you can ground yourself on the mat. Feel that you can sit steady, okay? If you want, you can use something under your hips. If it's too much to sit up straight like this, use something under your hips, that's no problem. Place your feet a bit wider on the mat, so your knees are straight. These is straight, all toes on the floor, okay? So take a moment, you can hold your knees, make a straight back. Take a few breaths. If you want, you can always just close your eyes and try to connect with your body, with what you feel as your body, which means that sometimes it's very easy to, for example, maybe right now feel your sitting bones, your hips, your buttocks. Maybe it's very easy to feel your lower back. But you can also bring your attention to your feet, the way it feels, how they touch the mat. And then you can slowly lower yourself forward. You can bring your hands on the mat if you want. And just relax, so roll your back, make it round, lower your hands, walk them forwards a little bit if you want. If it feels better, you can always bring your hands under your knees. And you can lower your head, relax it in between your knees. If that's too much, bring your hands on top of your knees, on top of your legs, and lower your head onto your forearms. Okay, so both is fine. Make sure you can relax the entire back. And again, try to connect to your breathing. So try to feel what's happening in your body when you breathe. Maybe it's a bit different now because the belly is touching the thighs. For me, I feel that the breath is going more towards my back, like I have more space in my back. The breath is going more to the sides and less towards the belly. And that's fine. What we want is we want to soften the area. We want to soften the lower back. So try to keep it soft. Try to keep the movement or this pose easy. You know, it doesn't always have to be a very difficult thing we're doing with yoga. It's all about being aware of what you're doing. And then if you come across something, you can change it. You can adjust. Okay, from here, walk yourself back. So use your hands, walk yourself all the way back. And sit up straight again. So every time we come back to a straight back, if we've been in a pose, we're just going to take a moment. If you want to side, just do so. You know, never hold back on that. Just let yourself go if you feel like it. Okay. And you can walk your feet all the way back towards yourself. You can place your hands alongside your hips and push yourself up all the way forward. Move your weight forward until you're on your toes. and then place your feet back on the ground and come up with the hips. So we're going to a dangling pose. You can place the feet hip wide or a little bit wider if you want. Bend the knees. Then you can bend them a lot or just a little bit. Just make sure you don't lock them. Okay, so this is how you lock them. They're very straight, even too straight. Just make sure you have a little bend in there. And you can leave your hands on the ground. And maybe your fingertips touch the mat. And otherwise you can just let them hang, or you can cross your arms. Release your head. So make sure you relax again the entire back. The neck as well, the head, the shoulders. And again, deep breathing towards the belly. Even though we're upside down, doesn't mean we don't breathe into the belly. Even if it feels a bit weird, just try to let it go. Sometimes that's the hardest part, to not do anything. We always want to do something. And in a lot of poses there's no point of doing. You just have to not do anything, let go, and try to follow your body. But for that you need to listen and try to observe what you feel, what you notice, and see if you can act upon that. If you want, you can make a little stretch towards the left. You walk your hands on the left side, outside of your left foot. If you can't reach the floor, just grab your calf, left calf, inside of your knee, and try to keep your hips straight. So if you keep your hips straight and your knees straight, you might feel a stretch on the right side of the body. Not too much, just easy stretching. And you can do the same thing on the right, so just easily walk towards the middle, other way around towards the right, both hands on the outside of the right foot to the right leg. And again, try to breathe. So keep that connection. Every time you feel like you lost control or lost your attention, bring it back. Don't be hard on yourself, just be gentle. And know that you can come back to that breathing rhythm actually every time. Slowly back towards the center. And then you can open the feet a little bit, so toes pointing outwards. And then you can come again onto your toes. Okay, so you can keep your hands on the floor. Toes outward, and then you can move a little bit. Okay, so I could just switch a bit this way. Try to move. So you can just like make a figure 8 almost with your knees. If it's too much, just wiggle a little bit from side to side. Okay, so what you want is to just make a small movement in the hip area and in the feet. Okay, you can also, if it's too much to be down, you can put your hands on your knees and just move like this, but then it's more of a balancing pose. That's fine, just as much as you like, as much movement as you like. I like to make the movement a little bit bigger, but have some more balance on my hands. And keep breathing again, like we always do, we always will. And then you can place your feet a bit wider, mat wide, or maybe even wider than that, and lower the weight onto the heels. So you have your entire foot supported by the mat. If you fall backwards while sitting in squat, roll your mat up, or the backs of the mat, all the way up to your heels, and then place your heels on that roll. Okay, so you have support on the heels, very important, because only if you have a squat where you can release the entire weight onto, release the weight onto the entire soles of your feet, only that way you can really relax the hips. Okay, so only if you have the entire soles of your feet on the ground and you can lower your weight onto your heels, you can relax in the hip area, and that's what we want here. That's what we want in a squat. It's a very deep stretch for the hips. So make sure you can relax them completely. And then you can place the elbows inside your knees. Your hands can be placed together. If it's difficult, you can just lower the hands onto the mat. Okay, so it's both fine. And try to relax, try to breathe. And maybe you feel already that in this pose, the breathing goes very, very, very deep. Especially if you can relax, you know, the hips, the buttocks, the groin. And the breath is just going down, maybe all the way into the pelvis area. Take your time. Slow breaths. Slow breaths into the squat, all the way down. If it's becoming too much, just come out of the pose. You know, you can always go to child's pose. Just lay down for a little bit. Again, no struggle. Don't make it into a struggle. Keep smiling. It's very important that you can just keep smiling. Okay. Slowly gonna come out of this squat. You can place both hands in front of you and slowly bring your weight all the way forward, and then you can release the feet one by one. So come on, all fours. Take your time. It takes some time, okay, because of the stretch, it's very deep. It might be a bit tough to come out, and once you're on all fours, you can stretch the legs one by one. Okay, so just a little stretch. Okay, other one as well. Take your time. If you want, you can just lay on your belly, or you can come to child's pose. Okay, both are fine. Whatever feels good for you right now. As long as you can relax. Doesn't matter in which pose. And take a few moments here to kind of reflect on what you feel. So maybe in squat you don't feel very much, or you're very focused on keeping your balance, staying up. And afterwards you can sometimes reflect on what the pose did and how you feel. So be aware. Try to be aware of whatever comes up. There's no wrong or right, so you don't have to judge your own observations. And then take your time coming out of child's pose. Okay, so you just come up into hero pose first. Again, take a moment here. Breathe in, all the way out again. It's always important to take a few breaths and gently move towards the next pose. For the next pose, you can bring your feet back to the front. So we're going to start again right here. And then you can bring your right foot under the left leg. Bring your knee to the middle, so you really bring your right foot all the way to the left. If you have some room, you can bring the left foot over the right knee. Just try to feel if that's okay. You have to be able to sit with both buttocks on the floor, so don't make it into a one side or the other. And if you have even more room, you can place your knees on top of each other, and then the outside of your feet are on the floor. Okay. You can just keep this position, so just sit up straight, relax. Might be more than enough, especially if this is the first time you're doing this pose. Take it easy, step by step. Try to feel if this is okay. Make sure you are sitting balanced with a long back. And if you feel you have some more room, you can come forward a little bit. So you place your hands in front of you on the mat and just relax this way. And you'll probably already feel the stretch in the hip area, in the gluteus maximus, I think it's called. So So very, very strong, thick muscles. Maybe even in your thighs, you can feel it. In the hips. Because, you know, the body is always moving as one unit. If you have some pain or issues in the lower back, it's never just the lower back. Your body is one. It's one thing. It's one organism. So, and especially the lower back. I mean, that's the perfect example for a place that always has a connection to other parts of the body. There's a lot of nerves coming together, a lot of muscle, a lot of ligaments and tendons that are tying everything together here in the hip area. Especially the lower back is very sensitive because there's a lot of fascia here, and fascia and tendons and ligaments as well. It's very tough tissue. So it takes a lot of time and gentleness to soften it up. And right now in this pose we are of course focusing more on the muscles in your buttocks and in your thighs, but they're very, very much connected to the lower back. So the pain in the lower back might very well come from very different places in the body. So we're paying attention to the hip area in order to soften all the muscles connected to the lower back. Muscles and the white tissue, so the fascia, tendons and ligaments. You don't always have to feel something. You might not feel very much, that's okay. Yoga is not a sport where you have to try or push. You just try to follow your body, and don't feel like you're wasting your time if you don't feel a lot. Trust me, trust yourself, trust your body. A lot of things are happening even if you don't consciously feel everything. Okay, we're going to change sides. If you are with your hands in front of you, move them back towards your body. You can lower them behind you. Lower the weight, bring the weight back a little bit. And then you can stretch your legs. So take a moment here. If you want, you can place your hands behind you. Take a deep breath in. And all the way out. And then we're going to change sides, okay? So feet back on the ground. And then you can bring the left leg under and bring it all the way to the right. Okay, so your knee is already coming a little bit more in front of you. And if you have some room, right knee over the left one, okay? Try to sit up straight, try to feel if it's okay. Because it's always very important in this pose to keep the back straight. So you don't have this movement going like this, but it's straight. And again, maybe on this side you have more space or less space than the other side. If you have enough room to come forward, just do so. And in poses like this, like I said, we're going with the gentle touch here because it's a very sensitive part of the body, the lower back. So you try to feel what is about between 60 and 80% of your range of motion and of how you feel in a pose. So 100% is like the maximum stretch, and it can become already maybe a bit painful. You don't want that, not on this one. 80% is maximum. You might feel that it's getting too intense after a little bit, then you just come up. Can also be, especially if you give it a little bit of room in the beginning, that your body kind of eases into the pose. Especially if you keep the breathing low, if you keep the breathing steady. Then you can feel your body kind of sinking into that pose, being like, okay, this is good, this is fine. I might feel some tension or some stretching, that's good. And then you can always come a little bit deeper. You don't have to, only if you feel you have a lot of room. And breathe. So keep the body relaxed. Try to focus on your legs, keep them soft. Try to focus on your belly, also soft. No pressure. No struggle in the body, no struggle in the mind. One more breath in this pose. And then we're gonna come out again. So bring your hands back, if you have them on the ground. Place them behind you. Bring the weight back. Legs out. One by one. Slowly out. And let them rest a little bit, okay? So just let them rest. Try to be still. If you want, you can close your eyes. And it's the same as we did in child's pose. Maybe in the pose you were very busy with being in the pose. And once you're out, there might be things that you notice in your body that you didn't notice before, or didn't notice in the pose. So try to see what you can detect. The same goes for every part of the yoga practice. No struggle, no trying too hard. If you don't notice anything, it's perfectly fine. Again, trust yourself, trust your body. A lot of things are happening. You might feel the effect straight away, or you might feel it a little bit later, or even days later. Doesn't matter. Something happens. Okay. Take your time to come into a lying position on the back. And keep your block or your book or your blanket close. We're just going to use it in a little bit. Okay, so lower yourself down. If you want, you can use already a pillow under the head if you feel comfortable with that. Otherwise, you can just place the head on the floor. Bring your feet towards yourself, so towards your buttocks, about hip distance apart. And we're going to do the same thing as we did in the beginning. We're going to push the navel all the way down, so the tailbone comes up, and then bring the whole hip area off the ground. So activate your tummy muscles, legs, hips, and then you can use the block or the book to place under the hips. Make sure you place it under the lower back, where it's just above the tailbone, so that you rest and it's very easy. There's no tension, there's no pain. If you have a block or a book, it might be too hard, and you can always just place a cushion on top of it. If you have more space, or you want to try an even deeper stretch, you can place the block on its side. It's a bit harder to do with a book, I wouldn't try that one. But if you have a block, you can do it. And if you feel comfortable with this, if it doesn't hurt the lower back, you can one by one, very slowly, try to control that motion, stretch the legs out. Bring them a bit wider apart, not together. Otherwise you kind of put a lot of, if you close your legs here, you put a lot of pressure on the lower back, which is not what we want. So place them outwards a little bit. And then roll the shoulders backwards. So you bring the shoulder blades together a little bit. So you open the chest, and you feel the entire front of your body is open. And you can relax, okay? So it's very important, if you have your legs stretched out, that you relax. And otherwise, place your feet back on the ground, knees up. That way it's easier. And again, no surprises here. Take a few deep breaths. Okay. And this again is one of those poses where you want your body to kind of surrender. You don't want there to be any holdings, any additional tension. You really want your body to surrender to the pose, kind of sink into it. And when you keep your mind with the pose, with the body, you will always notice that you might building up again tension in the muscle area somewhere, because your body wants to protect you. If it finds this pose a bit challenging or maybe even a bit scary, your body wants to protect you from pain, so it will use muscle power. And the way to help your body relax, or to let it know, like, okay, this is might be new, but it's not scary, it's okay, I know what I'm doing. The way to do that is to breathe. So breathing is like way important here to keep the breath slow and soft and down, so all the way down again to the belly. And don't go too far out of your comfort zone, okay? If this is challenging for you, if you find this because it's a challenging pose, it might be a bit scary to place something under your back and just lean on that. So keep it soft, just keep your feet up. Or not your feet up, that will be even harder. Keep your knees up and your feet on the ground. You go like this. This is way more controlled. This way you don't have all the pressure on the block. Okay, if you have your feet still stretched out, slowly bring them back in. So you can put weight on your feet, so close towards your body. Again, bring the navel down, tailbone up, so you lift up from the block. And then just lower the back slowly onto the floor. Let it sink in. One of the best feelings. Okay, bring the shoulders out, so you release the entire back onto the floor. And you can choose what you like. As in the beginning, you can place your feet a bit wider apart and let your knees come together. It might be the most relaxing pose for the back, especially if you actually have lower back pain. Then this is a very comfortable pose for most people. You can also choose to go to full-on Shavasana with your legs stretched out. And that way you have a little bit more tension in the back. But if you don't have back problems, this is fine. It's good. So whatever you fancy here for a last moment of relaxation, a last moment of breathing. Well, I hope not. I hope not last moment of breathing, but the conscious yogic breathing we're doing. And the last pose of total surrender. Shavasana is about total surrender. Letting go. And it's very challenging because you let go of control of the body. But you do want to keep control in the mind, as in you want to keep the mind present. So don't let it wander. It wanders all the time. But bring it back. Slowly, steadily, gently bring it back. You can focus on your breath. You can focus on what you observe in your body. One more deep breath. And then choose how you want to come out of Shavasana into a sitting position. You can come onto your side and then slowly come back up. If you want a little bit more rounding in the back, or you want a little bit more movement, you can come up as we did in the beginning. So you can bring your hands under your knees, you can bring your nose towards your knees, really round yourself, and then you can roll, maybe once or twice, maybe you want to roll a few times. Make your own move until you're back up. And you can use something to sit on if you want to use your block, your book, your blankie under your hips. Take a moment. Just sitting down. You don't have to do anything. Just one more moment of observation. What do you notice in your body? What do you notice in your mind, in your breath? Maybe you have very strong emotions coming up. Happens a lot. Just let them be there, especially the hip area. Can be very tense, and when you loosen that up, you can stir up really old emotions, emotions you really pushed away. So if they come up, maybe now, maybe later, just let them be there. Just give them some space. They need to come out. There's no point holding them in. They only just make the area tight again. And you can bring your hands, palms of your hands together in front of your heart. And give yourself a big inside hug, a big smile. Because you did it. Again, you were here. You showed up for yourself, to pay attention, to be aware, to give some love to your body, your mind, and your soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for watching this video, for joining me in this class. If there's anything you'd like to share with me, please just leave it in the comments. I'll always answer. If you want to know anything more about me or about the yoga, you can always go to my website or to my social media. I'll see you next time.